there was an officer who kept asking me for favors.
When a cop asks you to do something like that, you probably feel
obligated
to do it. And so how did you respond?
I stayed in public view and stuff like that. I didn't get mouthy. I didn't try to give him a reason to try to arrest me, but a couple of times it almost happened. One time I almost convinced myself to do it because I was so scared. Cops out here that are just as corrupt as the people using.
You don't got to sugarcoat it.
Okay.
You don't have to edit or censor what you're going to say. Like, we want people to know how serious the addiction problem really is and how dangerous it is out there, the bad things that happen, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll take 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Or as long as you'd like to talk. If you want to talk for longer than 10 minutes, you can. Normally they take about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So what did you say your name was again?
Heather.
Heather.
Yes.
And we're here in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And you're here with your husband?
Yes.
Whose family is from this area?
Monessen. Yeah, it's about an hour and 45 minutes away.
But you're normally originally from Florida?
Yeah, Orlando, Florida.
And were you guys together down there?
Yeah.
And you decided to come back to his home?
Yeah, Florida, they don't have resources to help out people who are homeless, so we came up here. They have what's called Allegheny Link and Action Housing. They help people who want help to get them into housing and get their documents and get them back up on their feet, basically. So the shelter where I stay at, it doubles as a shelter, and an SRO program, which is single room only occupants. The state basically helps pay the rent for a year lease, and our rent, unfortunately, our lease is up next month. So. But there's more resources up here to help people. And there is more resources that help people with addiction as well. Like, there's a place called AHN on Smithfield, and they have one on East Ohio. They help with harm reduction, which is like, they give you like fresh needs, stuff like that. So Florida, it's more like a retirement state, more for people who are more uppity and rich, you know, and panhandling is also illegal in Florida. It's not here, so.
Gotcha. So is that what you were doing? I know that we found you on the corner there. Is that your main hustle? Is that how you come up with your money? Yeah,
that's pretty much until my husband can find a job. I mean, he's trying to get his birth certificate. I just got mine, so we've never had Pennsylvania IDs. But, so we got to work on that. And then the program that we're working with, they're going to give us a voucher to get our IDs too, so that'll help.
Nice.
So that's our next step.
So you're using...
Yes.
Are you yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
How old are you?
28.
You're young.
Yeah.
How long have you been using drugs?
Probably about 4 years.
How'd you get on it?
My ex, when I was with him, I was pregnant. I wasn't on it at the time, and 2 hours before I went into labor, while I was sleeping, he actually like me with it. I woke up and I'm like, what the hell? So and then 2 hours later, my water breaks. I go to the hospital. They test me. They test the baby. We both fail. So, and because I had a C-section, I needed pain management to deal with it, because I've had like 4 prior C-sections. So every time you have a C-section, it hurts more and more. And due to the fact that I popped positive they didn't want to give me no kind of pain medicine when I left. And I was in a lot of pain. So he kind of was really manipulative. He was abusive. The man that I'm with now is the only man I've been with that just never taken advantage of me. He's always respected me, never called me on my name, never put his hands on me, but every man I've been with beforehand has. So I was in an abusive relationship. He got me addicted to and then when I met my husband, who I'm with now, I'd gotten roped into some really bad shit. There were some people who literally held me hostage in a hotel in Florida, and he saved me. He broke the door down and everything.
Wow.
Right now, I had a baby July 20th of this year, and popped positive again. So we're dealing with CYS right now. But I'm actually really proud of me and my husband. We've actually cut back a lot. We're weaning ourselves off. It's just a hard process. I was thinking of getting on methadone, but that's getting off one drug and getting onto another drug. And methadone's so hard. There's no you can go a couple days and take and it takes the withdrawals away. For methadone, there is no thing that'll help you wean off of that. You gotta literally wean yourself off, and it literally like attaches itself to your stem cells and into your bones. So if you withdraw from that, like, it's really dangerous. Same thing with withdrawing from like alcohol, like it's life-threatening. So we're doing it little by little. I'm not proud the fact that I have an addiction at all, and I miss my kids so bad.
How many kids do you have?
I would have had 6, but my youngest son passed away from SIDS.
Sorry.
It's just hard being out here because there's no real way to cope with anything, so drugs help. I'm not proud of it at all. I'm not happy that I do it. I don't do it to like be nodding out and like passing out. I don't like that. I don't like getting that high. I just don't want to be sick.
Feel stuck? Yeah.
Extremely. And it sucks because the addiction rules my life. If I don't have enough for the whole day, my anxiety goes up. I can't get anything done. I can't go like grocery shopping or to like appointments because I'm scared I'm not going to be able to get what I need to not be sick.
Yeah.
Withdrawals are terrible. It's like having the flu times 10, and then it feels like you want to jump out of your body. And anxiety's bad. You can't eat, can't sleep, can't stop moving any part of your body. You get restless leg syndrome. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm. And so the only choice is to just go through it in a detox, right? Or keep using.
Right, and since we don't have IDs, it's not like we can get into a clinic to go detox.
And it's kind of hard to get an ID when you don't either have the money to get the ID, the transportation to get to a place where you need to get it, or a mailing address for documentation and all that stuff.
Exactly. And we applied for food stamps, but since the building that we stay at doubles as a shelter, they say that, oh, okay, the shelter serves food, so you don't need food stamps, but here's Medicaid. And it's like, the shelter won't feed us, and we can't get food stamps, so how am I supposed to eat? And everyone else just tells me, you know, get a job. And that's a great solution, and I want to. But no one, like, factors in, okay, I get a job. But they usually hold your first check, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly. So I get a job, that's cool. How do I eat tonight? I can get a job and start working, but that's not going to pay me cash every day.
Right.
So
right now, did you say you're staying in a place with a voucher, or are you living on the streets?
I was living in the streets, but I'm staying in 2nd Avenue Commons, the shelter. But like I said, next month our lease runs up, and it's gonna get cold.
Yeah.
So we're worried like about getting a tent, and even if it being a tent is gonna be like warm enough for us, you know, because it gets like below negative
really
out here.
We're in the Midwest. It's cold. Every single day you have to inject. How much are you using a day?
Probably 10 bags a day.
And how much money is that?
$40, $50.
Okay. Is it out here?
Yeah.
Is it dangerous?
Extremely. And they got this new thing added to it. It's called, which I hear is like a or whatever, but that's like a whole different ball game too. That adds in different kind of withdrawal symptoms and different ways that you gotta treat that as well. And it also causes like if you what's called a miss, which is where if you it and you don't get it into the vein and you like blow the vein or whatever, you risk having an abscess and all that stuff. So
it's scary.
It's very
lots of things to be like lots of reasons to not do this, right?
Extremely.
Right? But yet you're still doing it, and I think that goes to show how much people are trapped in their addictions. There's 1,000 reasons logically that you just explained to me why you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
How do you get your money every day? So $40 or $50. Is it all through panhandling, or do you have other hustles?
I panhandle. That's it. My man, he does his hustle thing. He finesses. He finds licks, which is basically people need drugs and shit. So he charges them extra, knocks them over the head, and gives them what they want, and we get extra money. Or sometimes we just get our drugs that way too.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that you've seen on the streets during active addiction?
There's been women out here that will offer head for $5 just for it. I mean, and there's people that are in my situation that we know they'll rob other people. People have been like robbed at knife point. I've seen some dudes had his head split open because he owed a Connect like over $100, and Connects out here, they don't play the shit you see in movies. It's not just in movies. That stuff comes from actual things that happen. Like, it's not just made up, it's not stories. Like, people get held hostage, people go missing, people get Like, it's not a game out here. This shit's serious. And everyone else just like, oh, you're exaggerating or you're just telling lies. It's like, no, this shit really
Shit's real.
happens. And there's cops out here that are just as corrupt as the people using.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, when I first got up here, I don't want to mention his name, but there was an officer who kept asking me for favors and I wouldn't, and he would keep messing with me and keep wanting to give me fines and shit like that. But luckily he got transferred, so I haven't seen him lately, but there's cops out here that do that too.
When a cop asks you to do something like that, you probably feel
Obligated.
obligated to do it. And so how did you respond?
Well, I made sure that, like, I stayed in public view and stuff like that. I didn't get mouthy. I didn't try to give him a reason to try to arrest me, but a couple of times it almost happened. And one time I almost convinced myself to do it because I was so scared. But it's like, even if you do that, if you go and tell on a cop, like, that's bad too, because all the cops are like together. So like, you snitch on a cop and then it's bad, and then you go to jail, and then some COs in the jail, they turn the other way and don't look, and people get. There's some kid who somebody up on Smithfield a few months ago. They just stabbed him up in the county. And COs didn't do shit. So it's hard.
You had mentioned being taken in Florida, being locked up. Are you comfortable telling us what happened?
I was in Kissimmee, near what's called Old Town. It's like a tourist attraction down by Disney. I was living on the streets I was using, and one of the connects that I thought was cool, like he had me pretty fooled, like thinking, you know, he was a cool guy, he was gonna help me. He bought me a hotel room, and he sat in there with me one night, and I was comfortable. He gave me drugs. I'd ran a bill up, and the next thing I know, like 3 or 4 dudes, he opens the door, and I was trapped in there for 3 days. I was beaten pretty bad. They tried to make me and shit. And then the man I'm with now, he was a couple doors down. We had been like hanging out and getting to know each other on and off for a few months, and I guess like he just wasn't with it, and one of the dudes had just grabbed me up by the throat and like choke slammed me, and he had heard me screaming, and he came in and he literally kicked the door in and had me in his room, and we were safe from there. Speaking of which, that's my husband. You mind if I poke my head out real quick so I can let him know?
No, go ahead.
All right. Babe! He just worries.
So would you say that that's the worst thing that happened to you in your addiction?
Yeah.
So last question. I know that your husband's here and you probably have to go soon, but if you could wave a magic wand and have a perfect life, what would it look like?
Just something simple, like maybe a 2-bedroom house, no drugs, just a comfortable job, and just to be happy. I don't want a big house. I don't want a mansion. I don't want to be rich. I don't want fancy cars. I just want to be okay.
Do you ever get happy out here?
I do, when I'm with him. He's the only one constant good thing in my life. I love that man to death. He's my best friend. He really is.
Well, I want to give you a card. We have a lot of resources in doing this. We've done it all over the country, and we have a lot of places that have offered help. And so if you decide that you want help, I want you to call us, okay? Because I want to see you get your kids back. You got 5 kids that need mama, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate your time.
No problem.